So based on that then, for our listeners, break down the model of how Rug Radio works, because it's very innovative. It's not, your Web 2 media radio station and so on. So I think it'd be good to understand how you guys have innovated and why you were, so ingrained inside Fergus's vision of pushing this through.
Yeah. So if you look at Rug Radio, what's interesting is let's take it back and I'll give you a quick macro view of our ecosystem. Our parent company, Dastan holding company that Farouk and I founded together to start acquiring more media platforms and ultimately to bridge them together with innovative technologies. And I'll talk about that here in a little bit too, I'm sure. But that company now owns both Decrypt and Rug Radio wholly. We formed that parent company as a result of our desire to merge Rug Radio and Decrypt, and needed a vehicle to house those IPs and to give them the ability to operate autonomously, but to share economy of operations, resources, commercial teams, those types of things. Really just like trying to figure out how do you optimize and streamline your expenditures and make sure that you're building a lean model and maximize the benefit of all of those inputs for not just the one media company, but multiple media companies. So if you look at like Rug Radio, and we could talk about Decrypt shortly too, but like Rug Radio is really like a new age media model in that, and you can see parallels, right? Like there's groups that do similar things, but ultimately, it wasn't necessarily even about owning IP. It was about empowering content creators, independent content creators, which, if you look at traditional publishing, it is in trouble in a big way. And the creator economy is growing at such rapid scale because the democratization, right, and the distribution of like resources and really is the future of how we're going to find sustainability in media. But what we wanted to do is we wanted to find content creators who shared a similar ethos with us, support them from an organizational perspective with economies of scale in commercial team, in production, in distribution, right? And create this network, a collective voice that would be able to craft and help content creators to own the narrative instead of just being subjected to like the pressures and maybe some of the constraints that platforms like Facebook and Instagram and Google have imposed on content creators and publishers, and really give them the ability to say, hey, we want to distribute to audience, we want to do it in our way, we want to commercialize how, when, and where we want, and we want to do this together in a shared way. So Rug Radio ultimately was just a collective of content creators. What we were able to do to kind of like break down the business model is when you have a bunch of content creators with a shared mission coming together who have tens of millions of monthly impressions on their content, it becomes a lot easier for us to go to our pipeline of businesses and partners and say to companies like Uniswap or companies like Louis Vuitton or Givenchy